probably not ideal from an attendance perspective, but it is what it is. We weren't going to move the project timeline to better suit the school year. So my name's Richard Testa. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the chairman of the school building committee. We've comprised of a 22-member committee, which consists of members from the community, Abington Public Schools, the town, government. We have a professional team that we've been working with now for almost 3 years. Mary Mahoney is our owner's project manager from KVA. And then Scott Dunlap, Craig Olson, and Troy Randall are architects with AI3. Over the past, again, nearly 3 years, we've worked very, very closely together, both with the school department, with the community, with our 22-member committee. Over 500 pages of construction drawings, 2,300 pages of specifications, and nearly 100 meetings have taken place. We meet, we have a monthly meeting, subcommittee meets on a weekly basis almost every Friday morning, and then meetings are ongoing with the school faculty to get their input into all the learning spaces and the project at large. So we've had a lot of meetings, we've had a lot of input from people, and I think you guys will be pleased with what you see tonight as a result of all the meetings and hard work that's gone into the project thus far. To give you a quick idea of timeline, and again, this would be if there are no delays, not that we anticipate any delays, but I imagine if we got another 6 to 8 feet of snow, as we did in the winter, that could potentially pose a slight problem. September 2015, the construction bidding begins. December 2015, contractors will mobilize on site and the athletic fields will come out of service. So we are able to finish our fall sports season prior to the playing fields coming offline. In March of 16, we're going to start the construction of the 2 synthetic turf fields. Those will be, and when we get further into the presentation, you'll be able to see, but those will be presently in the back right corner of the lot, so they'd be where the existing playing fields are, but all the way in the far back right corner. Come August 2016, the synthetic turfs will be ready, synthetic turf fields will be ready for use. In December 2017, the high school will move into the new building. That'll be a mid-year change, certainly not ideal, but we don't want to hold up the demolition of the existing high school. So we'll get the high school students moved into the new building. We'll actually delay moving the then middle school students into the building. We don't want to disrupt 3 school buildings during the school year. Obviously, we need to move the high school students so that we can continue the demolition and to raise the existing high school building, but we'll actually wait to move the middle school students into the building until the beginning of the new school year. Again, January 2018, temporary building access to the new building. We'll start abatement, demolition of the existing high school, as I mentioned. And then once that comes down, we'll start construction of the new bus loop and front entrance access. August 2018, so again, immediately prior to the start of the new school year, both the middle school and pre-K students would be moved into that building in preparation of the start of that school year. In October 2018, we'll seed the new natural turf fields, so there'll be 2 natural turf fields that will be in front, one immediately in front, one to the left front of the school building. And those take 2, they say 3 seasons, which equates to a little less than 2 years, about 18 months of growing time. We've been cautioned by our landscape architects that they'll look great after a few months, but unfortunately the roots will not have taken. And if we were to go out and play on them as good as they'll look, we'll only be doing damage and really, unfortunately destroy the long-term viability of the field. So as nice as they're going to look, we really have to exercise some restraint and not get out on those early on. So those would then be available in spring 2020, and those would be available for play as well. I did have a question when we were just walking around looking at some of the renderings regarding the turf fields and whether or not there'll be lighting. There will be lighting on the turf fields. The lighting will not be part of the initial build-out of the turf fields. So that lighting will come online as we're doing the construction of the new building. So the turf fields will be available for use in August 2016, so they'll be ready for the start of that fall sports season, but they will not be lit at that time. That'll be several months after as the project continues. Just to help acclimate yourself to the site, if you were to look here, again, the building you'll notice here is in the middle. There'll be 6 tennis courts in the back left area, the 2 synthetic turf fields in the back right area, and then the 2 artificial turf, the 2 natural grass fields, again, in the front right and front area. So this, if you were to look at it, just have a very center, so it might be difficult to make out. This would be essentially where the existing high school sits presently in this area here. This shows the phasing that we just discussed, the timeline. So again, phase 1 includes the construction of the artificial turf fields, which will take place back here. This will be contracted access here, and then once those turf fields are used, there'll be public access to the turf fields in this area. Again, while that's going on, this entire section outlined in blue will be taken over by the contractor as they start to prepare the site, start to do construction back here. And again, once this is completed in red, we'll take back access to the turf fields here. And again, the green outline is the existing high school building as a point of reference. Phase 2, again, so once the school is constructed, we would then start to work on the demolition of the existing building, build the bus loop out, and phase 3, again, is the natural grass fields constructed in the front of the building on the current high school site. The artificial turf fields, again, in the back corner, they are both regulation size fields. We tried to maximize playing space. So this field, the artificial turf field, would be large enough for a full football game. The high school football games will still be played at Memorial Field. But again, this will give us, again, an opportunity for youth football, the high school football team, if they wanted to practice on that in preparation for tournament play. Most of the tournament play games are played on artificial or synthetic turf right now, and very often our football team needs to travel to another town to practice on synthetic turf fields in preparation of play. This also can be used for soccer, boys and girls lacrosse. We don't presently have a field hockey team. If in the future they wanted to have a girls field hockey team, that would now be possible. That wouldn't have been possible on our present fields. They're just too difficult shape to be able to play that sport. But, it would be an option now in the future. This is an aerial view to help you get an idea of the site layout. So this again would be the existing high school sits. The easiest way to envision the building is there's a common spine that goes down the middle of the building, and this is really where the shared or the common facilities would be. So your gymnasiums, your auditorium, cafeteria space, library, and then it splits out to a middle school wing on this side, and then a high school wing on the right-hand side, as well as the pre-K area in the back right corner. All of the 3 building configurations, so middle school, high school, and pre-K all have separate entrances. All three will have separate start times and separate end times. Obviously, ensuring that we minimize or eliminate, if at all possible, any mingling of age groups was critical to the project. So, by having both the separate middle school and high school wings, we ensure that those students don't integrate. Also, by having the separate start times, we minimize that. And again, by having the pre-K wing in it with its own separate entrance and being segregated in that area, we continue to minimize the mixing of students. This will give you a general idea of the floor plan. So again, if we look here in the middle, this is the spine that I spoke about. Your middle school wing is on the left-hand side with access to any of the core facilities on the left-hand side through a middle school corridor. Again, on the right-hand side is your high school wing, again, the high school common corridor, and your pre-K in the back right corner. You have your middle school cafeteria here, again, a separate high school cafeteria, separate high school administration offices, middle school administration offices, separate entrances to both areas. Unlike our current buildings, where if you gain access to the building, once you're buzzed in, you end up in a stairwell, a hallway. In this building, you'll actually be buzzed into either the middle school or high school office, administration offices. 95% of the people that visit the school have no need to have access to the general population. So whatever business they need to address would be addressed there in the administration offices, and then they would leave. If for some reason they did need to be let into the general population, they would then be buzzed out through the administration offices. So that just adds an additional layer of security and really eliminates the need for anyone, someone's coming to drop off a lunch, a pair of sneakers for gym class, whatever it may be. There's really no reason for them to have access or entry into the school building for the students. The actual entrances, so the middle school student drop-off entrance will be back in this left side here. The high school entrance will be in this general area. The bus entrances are along front here. So when the students get dropped off by the bus, they'll be dropped off in the front here. When we go to the second floor, very similar layout. You have your middle school on the left, high school wing on the right. You then have your library media center in the middle and the second floor of the auditorium. We're going to go now through a number of renderings. So this is the middle school cafeteria. And just to give you a general idea, this would be here in this front section. So from here, you'd go to the middle school wing, up to the left, and this up here on the second floor, you would see would be the library. Behind here is the middle school serving area. This would be the vantage point if you were entering through the middle school administration offices. The middle school offices would be here to your left. This would actually be where you would enter into the general building from the middle school offices. And again, you have the middle school cafeteria here. This is the high school cafeteria, which again is separate from the middle school cafeteria. This will be your high school serving area. And then back in this left-hand corner is the Greenwood Cafe. That's presently have this space. It's a duplication of the existing space. A lot of our special ed students operate the Greenway Cafe. It gives them an opportunity to get acclimated in with the general students. Also, it's a great opportunity to learn life skills. So whether it's laundry, measuring out flour, to bake something, cooking, So a lot of the general skills that they'll benefit from. This is a typical classroom. So you'll notice, again, lots of light, an interactive whiteboard, storage along the walls. Students sit in groups, work together collaboratively in teams, unlike the classrooms of the 60s where every student sat in a row and lectured to. This is really the new model of learning, and really what takes place in the business environment once students move on. Very rarely, if ever, is a decision made by one individual. I work during the day at a bank, and everything we do is by committee. Sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes that's not so good. They say a camel is a horse designed by committee. But again, we want to encourage that collaboration and really, teach the students to work together and work collaboratively, so that when they get into the real world, they have those skills. This is the project seminar room. This is a great opportunity to bring together 2 or 3 classes. The school right now does a lot of team teaching, but unfortunately they don't really have a space that's conducive to them being able to do so. This will have in the front, again, an interactive whiteboard. This space could be used in the example if they were Skyping with an author, as an example, that might be in California. It would provide that author an opportunity to address 3 classrooms of students. If you're bringing in a speaker and you want to maximize the number of students that can listen to that speaker, but it's not something you want to take to the auditorium. Again, this environment is very conducive to that. So very valuable space, and one that I know the faculty is very excited to put to good use. Fitness center, again, this is part of the project. We presently have a fitness center. This allows us the ability to provide not only a fitness center to our high school athletes and our middle school athletes, but also can be used as part of the core curriculum in PE. So this, again, will be widely used space. This is a middle school project lab. There's 2 middle school project labs. And again, these, I know speaking with all the faculty, this is something that they're really looking forward to. STEM is a big component of the current curriculum, so it's science, technology, engineering, and math. Some use STEAM, which includes the arts. But really what it does is, instead of learning something in a book, it actually takes what you're learning in the book and then allows you to put it into practical application. And it gives you spaces such as these that will allow the students to do that. And again, they can come together as teams. So, it could be one or multiple classrooms. There's 2 of these, both that are mirror images of one another, and there's actually an area in the middle that can then open up and you can use it as one large contiguous learning space. So the project lab that we see here, this would be the project lab that would be here on the left-hand side. Again, you have a mirror image of the project lab here on the right-hand side. They then have 2 glass walls on the exterior of both, which are operable and can actually be opened to create one large learning space. This, again, is just an area looking down to the first floor on the middle school side. I asked our project designer, have you done this in any other schools? And have there been any paper airplanes or anything of that nature that have been sent to flight? And they actually said that no, the students are extremely well behaved. I expected our students at Abington would better behaved than some of the surrounding communities. But also, I asked about, because it does look rather ornamental in nature, is there additional cost incurred by doing something like this as opposed to just a standard floor? And truly, there really is not any significant additional cost. Much of this, as beautiful as it looks, are standard pieces that you can buy from several manufacturers. The lighting, these are essentially plastic chandeliers with LED lights inside, so extremely efficient and have a very, very long life. This is the library. This actually is the only space that would actually be shared by both the middle school and the high school. We're very comfortable with that. Obviously, students during the day will be accompanied by teachers in this space. And although it is one large open space, we actually do have it broken down into a high school section and a middle school section as well. This is a rendering of the gymnasium, and this actually is both the high school and middle school gymnasium. Just to give you an idea, I'm going to go back quickly to the floor plan. And what you'll see is the high school gymnasium is adjacent to the middle school gymnasium. There's actually a solid operable wall that separates the two gymnasiums during the day. The gymnasium can then further be separated both in the middle school and the high school by curtains. So if you wanted to separate it, have multiple gym classes taking place at one time, you could further separate it. The rendering that we see here actually shows the space with the solid operable wall open. This you can see here would be the solid operable wall, and it goes back into storage. So this, with the wall being able to be open, it allows you obviously a much larger space. If it were a town meeting, not that I would expect you to have another town meeting with more than 760 people, which is what we can see in the auditorium. I think we've probably seen our largest town meeting for a while when we have the one for the school, but it would give you a much larger space, whether it's a high school graduation, if you need to have it indoors. You can certainly envision there are much larger number of students in here. Also, could be beneficial if you were having a large sports game. So, I know having Rockland basketball is a storied rivalry, and we get a great turnout for those games. In many cases, it's standing room only. These bleachers back here on the middle school side are actually operable bleachers, and those can be moved. If we were to open the wall here, those can be moved up to the end of the court here, so they could have seating on three sides of the actual gymnasium. This is the corridor going from, this is the corridor on the high school side, that would be going from the high school cafeteria down to the fitness, auditorium, gymnasiums area. This is an internal rendering of the Greenway Cafe. So again, it's a multifunctional space where the students, again, can do laundry, they can cook, they can sell their baked goods, breakfast to the high school students. But it's also a working classroom, so you'll notice whiteboards on the walls, overhead projectors. So while the space isn't being used as the cafe, it actually is a functioning classroom that the students are taught in. That's a very quick overview of the school. What I will point out, if you haven't had an opportunity to look, we actually have a rendering, and I apologize because I neglected to include a rendering of the auditorium in the presentation. The auditorium actually, if we look behind us, and actually, I'll do the benefit of it, I'll bring it in front. So this is a rendering of the auditorium. Again, it's a 750-seat auditorium. of its kind in the town. And anyone that's seen any of the students' performances that have taken place at the Frollo, it's remarkable what the performing arts department can do in the town. I brought my kids to see the Addams Family. We just went to the fourth grade concert there, and albeit as hot as it was and as cramped as it was, the performances that they're able to put on are amazing. So, once those performances can take place in an actual, true auditorium that provides the appropriate lighting, the appropriate sound, acoustics, the comfort for the people that are there to see the performance, it's really going to be remarkable. I think overzealous member of the building committee said we should have Ronan Tynan come to Chris at the auditorium for us. And certainly we will be open to it if he's interested, but I'm not gonna put myself out there. So you'll notice, again, stage up front, you have both a control area back here behind the first tier, and then also a second control area up here at the top. All of the lighting, the acoustics, everything can be controlled through those control areas. Again, really, I think a tremendous asset to the community and the students as well. Any questions?
I'm just wondering why the pre-K is being moved.
So there's a couple reasons. And first of all, thank you. That's a great question. It allowed us a couple opportunities. Number one, it allows us the opportunity. Right now, we have a very good early education program at the high school, and the students in that program spend a tremendous amount of time actually commuting from the high school over to the center school to interact with the student population. So there's lost learning time in the commuting back and forth. It doesn't sound like a lot, but for the amount of time that they have to interact with those students, a 10 to 15-minute trip back and forth across town can really reduce the amount of time they have to interact with those students. So that's one big benefit. Another benefit is it allows us to reconfigure all of the school buildings and really reduce the overcrowding that exists in all of our school buildings presently. By opening up this school and having a pre-K, middle 5 through 8, high school 9 through 12, it allows us to close the center school and close the north school. Both of those buildings will be declared surplus by the school department, and then get turned back to the town, and it will ultimately be up to the board of selectmen and then ultimately at a town meeting to determine what the final disposition of those two buildings will be. We'll then have at the current Beaver Brook School grades K, first and second, which right now we actually have 4 grades in that school. And as a result of being able to eliminate one of the grades, we're going to significantly reduce the overcrowding that takes place there now. Now, when I say overcrowding, I want to be careful. Overcrowding isn't student to teacher ratio. But right now, the current classrooms that we're building are about a third larger by MSBA requirements than our current classrooms. So to be able to spread out the student population and be able to take spaces that we're presently using that were not designed or intended when the building was built 50 years ago to be educational spaces, to be able to reclaim those and actually put the students back into true classrooms and true spaces that were intended to teach, will be a tremendous opportunity. So we'll have Beaver Brook will be K, first and second. Woodsdale will then be 3rd and 4th grade, and then 5 through 12 as well as pre-K will be at the new building. The school administration, as well as South Shore Collaborative, correct? Excuse me. Education. Those will move over to the Frollo. By keeping the Frollo online, it allows us to keep access to the gymnasium that's there, so that'll be a resource to the community. also be additional space that we can, much like we've done with North Laverne, we can also lease out to any other departments. There's been talk in the town about, Park and Rec or various different departments could potentially use that space, but that would certainly remain to be determined.
Yeah. In terms of the envelopes of the buildings too, the Frollo is in the best condition in terms of water penetration compared to the Center North School that are really very, very quickly approaching the need for major work in terms of roofing systems and brick and mortar. That's not to say that the Frollo isn't going to need appropriate maintenance to maintain it as a good asset for the community. The only thing the Frollo really needs for us to use it for the purpose that we're talking about is handicap accessibility. That building has a Garaventer that is a stair lift that runs the hall in a stairwell. And so there's no access to the building. That's a retrofitted Garaventer system that they don't make parts for anymore. So when that goes, there's no handicap accessibility to that building. So it's a ramping system that's going to be needed for the Frollo, which is minimal compared to the work we do.
Did I answer your question? Okay. Any other questions, comments?
Just, I'm concerned, I have a daughter starting in high school next year, so she's going to be in the thick of this for a whole 4 years. How is this going to impact the kids who are going to go to the high school?
Yeah, I'm gonna ask Mary actually to comment that, because I know Mary's done several phase construction projects that were in very similar or even closer proximity to existing school sites, and she can definitely comment on that from prior experience.
So I'm Mary Mahoney, I work for KBA with the Orange Project Manager. Both our office and AI3, the architect, have just finished up Hingham Middle School, which is a very similar project to this. It was an existing middle school that had a new middle school built within 40 feet of the existing school. And during the design of that project, and equally during the design of this one, we've spent a lot of time in the phasing plans that you saw earlier in the presentation, identifying delineation points between where the contractors are allowed to go and where the students and faculty and public are allowed to go. We've created access drives with fencing. We'll also use some visual barriers also just to keep the kids from getting too interested in what's going on rather than their own schoolwork. We will strictly monitor the flow of traffic. We'll have hours of operation for the contractor that ensures that when the buses and parents are coming in and dropping off, that we're not adding to that traffic problem. We'll manage the truck deliveries, etc. And we'll also perform query checks on all the workers on the site, and we'll monitor their activity to make sure that we're being a good neighbor to the school and ensuring that the educational process is not impacted by our operations. We feel that the success we just had at Hingham Middle School with a very similar situation is a good indicator that it can work well here too. But certainly we have our plan put together. We have our best intentions, and we will be willing to adapt those as we move along so that if there are any issues that the school department, parents bring to us, we'll adapt to those needs and concerns so that we're ensuring that the safety of the children is paramount during the entire process of building the project.
So just one immediate thing that comes to mind right away is if you're going to start construction midway through next year, I'm assuming that high school students won't be able to drive to school anymore. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. So
we're working on the parking plans now, and what we've developed so far is a plan that tries to minimally impact the amount of parking space counts for the facility. We've also adjusted that phasing plan so that we're maintaining the access for like service deliveries, and also the fact that the kitchen deliveries have to go to the other schools in the district. So a lot of the parking lots that are at the facility now, we're trying to maintain those, or at least a large portion of those during construction for the school's use, so that we're not dramatically impacting your operations.
So this, I guess my question is, the students will still be able to drive, or they won't?
As it stands right now, they'll still be able to drive.
They'll be able to find a place to park. You shouldn't comment on this high school students driving.
Yeah, there'll be a place for the parking.
Any other questions or comments? Well, I thank you all for coming. I encourage you, if you haven't had an opportunity already, absolutely walk around, take a look at the renderings. I'll be available for the next hour, or however long people decide to stick around. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. I thank you guys for coming out tonight.
Can I just also quickly
Absolutely.
thank you very much, School Superintendent Peter Schaefer. And I got to tell you, it was 3 years ago. I stood in the corner of this room and I brought a birthday cake to the seniors, and I said it was a 75-year-old birthday candle on it. It's not a 75-year-old birthday candle. It had a birthday candle that represented the number 75, which is the age of Frollo. Sort of that's how old your Frollo Middle School is, where our kids are going to school. So it's very exciting for me. I can't believe actually we're at this phase where we're doing this, where 3 years ago it was just I was asking people if the community would support the money to research this. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Sure. I couldn't comment specifically on these guys, but I can, I'm sure that's not a problem. We, just as an example, one of the questions we asked was about snow roads. And, you wouldn't think of 6 feet of snow, but just recently there was problems with all the snow we got around the mountain. They said that in areas that we were
Another grant.
Right. That's what it's running out to as we go on. So that's- How long are you
Coalition of every town. Yeah.
The kids are really like 18.
Yeah, or if not, you like,
I
you get.
can't take it.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle for sure. Yeah, a lot of things.
No sugar.
Not easy
Final.
to do.
No, it's just a chemical. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for
I didn't
coming.
realize Kevin first sent the email back like,
Oh, that's good.
yeah, like he was like, how do you know he's hungry? And like,
You're David.
How does that affect the
Oh, I do. I would have, it's sensitive. I would
Yes, they do try to analyze it when they don't have their desks.